You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Are you looking for a place to listen to your favorite music and sports? Look no further. WLSN, the Lieb Sports and Music Network, is a web-based music and sports network. Our network was created to provide authentic, high-energy entertainment through live streaming to a national audience. We play popular music while hosting podcasts from all over the world. Curious? Check us out on the web at liebsports.com. That's LEEIB sports.com. Or find us on the TuneIn Radio app. Got Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play WLSN on TuneIn. WLSN is America's #1 blog-themed sports and music network.
Hey, everyone in, let's go. Huddle up on 3. 1, 2, 3, huddle up.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
Extremely proud of you guys on your focus and your ability to lock in all week long this week. So, what I'm going to do now, okay, because you're going brand new at football coach.
And now, welcome everyone to the Huddle Up Podcast.
We did it our way, baby! We did it! We did it! We did it!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Huddle Up Podcast. We are live January 4th, 2022. Remember to say 2. I was afraid I was going to say 1. I've been writing it all week. But new year, calendar-wise, same seasons, football-wise. We're almost to the end, though. EJ Christian 7, you're the only one with us this week.
Yeah.
Maybe Kyle shows up. I think is Kyle scared of you? Because you might have one of your better top 10s.
Oh, you actually agree with my top 10 this week? Oh my God.
There's a few things wrong, but
As always.
As far as your top 10s go, they're a little bit better. How you doing this week, bud?
I'm doing good. Is this New Year, New Me now thing going on? You into that? New Year, New Me?
No, I'm still the same asshole.
I ain't changing nobody, so let you know. I ain't changing no damn body.
I was gonna say, man, I'm 36 years old. I'm not changing that much at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the same asshole that you've always gotten. But remember to check us out on social media at Huddle Up Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you check out our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net. Thank you. Yeah. I just gotta put that sounder on the board. I have to pull that from one of the recounts. NGSC Sports, their home network, the secondary home, the Lieb Sports and Music Network. Subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube as well. Well, we might as well jump right into it. There's not a whole lot of jibber jabber to go around this week since it is just you and I.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I scared people off with my Raiders is frisky take last week, and then it came to pass. Not only did they cover the spread, they actually won the damn game on Sunday against the Colts.
God, if I had to hear
the show, of course, Kyle, missed the show last week. It was the very next day, as you saw on our text exchange, started to run down play-by-play, listen to the podcast, the things I was saying wrong and whatnot. I'm like, really?
Well, if he doesn't show up this week, it's going to be the same thing. Our phones are going to blow up tomorrow, I'm sure. But
yeah, right.
College football playoff national championship. I feel like we've been here before, but Georgia versus Alabama. Georgia's a 3-point favorite in this one. We'll talk about
How?
that. I don't
Make
know.
it make sense, guy. Make it make sense. I don't understand this shit.
52.5 is your over under. This one Monday night, 8:00 on ESPN from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. Yeah, okay. So we were talking a little bit before the show, and like I know Kyle took umbrage because like I put out on Twitter, I was like, did Georgia throw the SEC title game? And like, look, 99.5% of me was like joking. It was to get a reaction, and Kyle bit the line. But like,
as always,
there's part of me, like, there's a tiny little sliver inside of me that is like, college football is as dirty as it goes. So like, just
absolutely.
Explain, and I think that like that's the point. Explain to me how a team can look so good for 12 games, then they play against Alabama literally a month ago tonight, and get railroaded. Look like they weren't even in the same zip code. And I get it. Alabama, great team. Nick Saban, probably the best college football coach of all time, at least in our generation. Completely different Alabama team than we saw all year. Completely different Georgia team than we saw all year. Then you come to the playoff games last week. Alabama beat Cincinnati. Look, kudos to Cincinnati. Cincinnati hung in for more in that first half than I really thought they were going to, but it was never in doubt. That game was never in doubt. We know what happened with Georgia and Michigan. It completely, I didn't see it going that way. Like, I thought Michigan had a legit shot at winning. It doesn't surprise me that Georgia won. The nature and the way they won is surprising. And again, so Georgia looks like the team that we believed they were all year again. And now, but now they're going against the team that a month ago they played and got blown off the field. And they're a 3-point favorite. And I get like Vegas has influence on that, and where the money is going has influence on that. But like, how is Georgia favored? It doesn't make sense, EJ.
No, it doesn't at all. And the reason why I'll even roll with you on the whole conspiracy theory is that you're right. The NCAA is actually very corrupt. And we're seeing a lot of those signs play out in recent years and stuff now. So you answer your own question. The reason why they can do what they did against Michigan last week and versus what we saw a month ago is that quality opponent. Alabama leaps them better than anybody else, not named Georgia, and probably Georgia if he plays again this week and on next weekend on Monday in championship game. But that's the thing. But otherwise, I don't understand. I saw that spread on a couple days ago. I'm like, this is a joke, right? You're kidding, right? Alabama literally not just beat Georgia; they blew the doors off the handles.
Sure, if it would have been a close game, those would have been a close game. I could see it. I could be like, Georgia had their worst game of the year. Alabama had their best game of the year. What are the odds this happens again? And that may be what happened a month ago, but when it was that lopsided, that's the part that gets me. That's the part that makes me go, how? What does Vegas know? What does somebody know that's smarter than me and richer than me? What do they know about Georgia and Alabama that I don't know? Like me, somebody explain it to me like I'm 5. Please, because it doesn't add up. And yes, it's conspiracy-ish. Do I truly believe that the SEC title game was thrown? No. I think any sport is way too hard to fix, truly. But it, like I said, there's just that little sick part of me. But anyway, to the game on Monday, Georgia is a 3-point favorite. Like, what was the result last time? Let me pull up the actual
score.
Yeah,
41-20 or something that nature.
So, like,
that's right now. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, like, why would I think Why would I think
41-24?
so? 41-24, and you expect like 100% I'm picking all
And here's the worst part: the Georgia opened with as a 3-point favorite. The line closed at 6 points. Okay, across most of if not all platforms, and Bama literally reversed that in spades.
Yeah. So again, Georgia 3-point favorite now. What's it going to be like by the time we get to Monday night? And what's the result going to be? I have no reason to believe that it's going to be any different than what we saw a month ago. So I'm taking Alabama, and I'm taking plus.
And if it does flip the other way, that your conspiracy theory becomes even more relevant, I guess, to some degree. I mean, I will say this much, though, that there is precedence for teams having a hard time beating that same team a second time, literally weeks later after playing the first time. I don't want to bring this up again for me personally, because this is one of my more heartbreaking sports moments in my life. Florida State, 1996. They play every year in November, Thanksgiving weekend. Florida State beat Florida. I can't remember the score of that game, in Florida State. Then they play for the national title a month later in the Fiesta Bowl, and Florida blows the fucking doors off Florida State. So there is precedence for this happening. The problem is, there's nothing I saw in that game.
No.
In this title game, let me believe that Georgia can take something away from that and flip the game. And I said, like, if you told me Alabama's a 3-point favorite, I can buy that. But Bama not even being a dog, what you do. And this is the thing also, too. I'm not someone that believes in bulletin board material, all this stuff. But I tell you what, man, if there's a situation where Nick Saban can have his boys all ready to go for next Monday, that spread could be one of those things.
100%. 100%. Before we get to any NFL stuff, I just thought of this, and it wasn't a topic that I put on the list.
Okay,
but like the comments from Kirk Herbstreit Desmond Howard on game day Saturday.
What did you say? I didn't hear it.
So basically, they went on a rant about how players in this generation, college football players in this generation, don't love the game of football the way previous generations did because they opt out of bowl games and stuff like that. And like Herbstreit especially, and he's kind of doubled down on it. I haven't seen any like doubling down by it from Desmond Howard. Like Desmond just kind of kept the ball rolling in the same direction that Herbstreit pushed it. But my thought on it is like, and it was kind of something we talked about a little bit last week or the week before. Like, here's the deal: if a player wants to opt out of a bowl game, I'm all in favor of him doing it. If a player wants to play in a bowl game to boost himself into the transfer portal, I'm all here for it. Like whatever these kids want to do, because here's the deal: the schools, the programs themselves, the athletic directors, the administrators, the coaches, everybody, fans, the merchandising companies, Nike, Under Armour, Jordan, all of them are making money hand over fist on college football. Hand over fist. It is a one of the most lucrative sports in the United States. So why is it a crime all of a sudden for a kid to go, you know what? I know I'm going to be playing on Sundays. I know I'm going to be drafted in the first round, so I'm going to protect this investment. Like Brian Kelly can up and leave in the middle of the day.
You can't say the N word. Mama, worry about it. Yep.
He one day he's recruiting, then 1 minute he's recruiting. He's in a kid's house. Buzz is starting to go on social media. Brian Kelly's in a recruit's house talking to a recruit. He walks out the door. His taillights can literally still be seen by the family he was just talking to when the news breaks on ESPN that he's no longer the head coach at Notre Dame for $100 million. But a kid says, I'm not going to play in the Cheez-It Bowl, and somehow that kid doesn't love football. Like I don't want to like sit here and be like, yo, old white dude, shut up. But like at some point you got to be like some of the older people talking like, are they just mad because kids finally smartened up to the fact that this is a business and they're protecting their own investment? Like, that's all the kids are doing. And
all these people doing it, like we talk about the shield in the NFL. In the same way, in the same fashion, in NCAA, it's the same thing. They're protecting their shield, their money. Kirk Herbstreit is another layer of that. He's protecting the shield. Tradition be damned, of course. I get it. But, we are moving in a progressive way of thinking now in terms of things like this. The hypocrisy is just damning, of course, and the fact that a kid can't go and say, I want to opt out this game, because they don't care about football. No, how about they protect their own investment to their lives?
100%. Look at the quarterback for Ole Miss. Almost broke his ankle or whatever. Like, there's still a possibility that he's not going to be ready for the combine, which is going to hurt his draft stock.
Yeah,
it doesn't look as serious. He should.
I'm be offended, but I'm supposed to give a fuck about this guy on ESPN who won't give a mumbling shit about me in April when I'm drafted lower than I'm supposed to, or you drafted all. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit, dude.
Exactly. Is Kirk Herbstreit going to donate some of his salary to these players that are going to take injury and not be able to cash in on themselves?
And the worst part, it's painfully obvious too. They're losing grip of this too. It's painfully obvious. Oh, whoa!
Hey, there he is.
Hugs.
What's going on, gentlemen? Happy New Year. Yes,
Happy New Year,
Kyle. You're a big, beautiful man. How are you? Yes.
Welcome in, student of the game, Kyle Nash. How we doing, bud?
Hey, everything's all right. Listen, it's just parenting, and for those who remember the comment Jeff Foxworthy once made about, there are times where I feel like my wife needs to be reminded that women can actually purchase gasoline in the country. It's one of those kind of moments we had tonight, but that's okay. I'm ready and willing to rock and roll now.
We are glad you are here, Kyle.
Yes.
Ryan has a great point here. He says, ain't getting hurt in a game right before I'm gonna get paid. Smart move to skip the games in some cases.
It's like I matter more than these motherfuckers on ESPN.
Well,
sorry,
gentlemen, I couldn't have come at a better time if you're talking about my good friend, air quotes, Kirk Herbstreit. Okay?
Yes, your best friend.
Right on time.
Yeah,
this cat has a history of saying provocative stuff, and it's just like this guy turns heel more often than Sid Justice or Sid Vicious, depending on what day of the week. There's a wrestling drop for you. Okay,
I like it.
And for those that want to keep it in the TV realm, I mean, F. Joss Whedon, but like he turns heel and hero more than Spike in Buffy. Okay, like this guy.
Good show, by the way, for the record.
Thank you. But the whole punchline I want to get to is this. Let's draw a string of behavior we've seen from Kirk here, okay? I wrote an article back in 2018. Everybody remembers, if you follow G5 football at all, when UCF's trying to make a case in this particular instance, I don't want to hear about UCF. What about Fresno State? What about Minot State? What about San Diego State? We remember that speech, gentlemen? Yes? Am I just talking into the void?
Yeah.
Okay, getting some nods. And it was one of those things where it was blatantly for views. Okay, that speech was made when UCF had a bye week. Okay, and you aren't doing that about a school that's on a bye week unless you're drawing dem views. But let me continue. You don't like UCF as an example? Oh, Kyle, you cover that team. You're a homer. Listen, the only one that's on a homer on this show is EJ Christian, a homer for his Chiefs. Okay, what I'm trying to get to is this. His eyes got big.
The first 15 minutes are so peace and quiet, and your punk ass come on here and talking shit now.
Listen, I saw the show.
I missed you, buddy.
You did not render peace and quiet. Good try.
Just bring it.
By the way, I don't know if you're trying to do the rock in there, but it figures that an FSU fan would get it long. You look like a fluffer on a porn site. Anyways, Hey, I had to come correct, Jim. You actually renewed your popcorn stores. Anyways, so getting back
here, I left the popcorn upstairs. God damn it!
Bitch.
Was it commercial break? I gotta pee anyway, so go ahead.
But getting back on track with Herbstreit, right? He's in here, and that same year with UCF, after he said the Fresno State, Minot State, and all that. Suddenly he goes to game day. I am born again. I have been to the bounce house and I've seen the mountaintop. I have seen the UCF bring it. Okay. Or obviously a dramatization. I don't think he would look very good in like a choir robe in a church, but you know where I'm going. So then fast forward to now when Cincinnati gets in and this guy starts turning heel and talking trash for the Empire. Interesting.
Sure did.
And
sure did. That tweet the night of the playoff reveal. Good Lord.
Yeah, we won't venture into how bad it take because we talked about it already a number of weeks back with our good friend and AJ Hawk stand-in Matt,
who apparently skipped out tonight because my Raiders frisky pick. He got so perturbed about when I was trying to be right. But go ahead. yeah. I was right.
It's not so much your pick as much as you're just like addicted to that word. Besides, it's nice to hear one take of yours turned out correct. Anyways, so
yes, bullshit. I went 4-1 this week. My picks. Well, okay.
No, take, not your picks. No, your picks have been going excellent.
Wow.
Wow.
I miss you, Kyle.
But does not this take sit with the Imperial turnheel? Or perhaps the turnheel was him being sycophantic for ratings from the powers that be? Because I think at some point he too believed that the G5 would never get in. And then we had the situation where the hand was forced and the committee was compelled. So now he could run his stupid mouth.
I compel you.
Okay. So we can go after Kirk Herbstreit and he's out of touch and maybe all of that is very possible. Maybe I am giving Kirk Herbstreit and his good friend Desmond Howard, who, by the way, has never turned heel, has always been consistent G5 hater. I saw it happen in person on campus in a press conference leading into game day UCF versus Cincinnati, where he shut down a student. I mean, it wasn't Nick Saban bad, but he was a little bit snipier than one should be in that setting. Anyways, so, yeah, maybe he's just out of touch, but nah. I think he's shock jocking y'all. And because he's wearing a suit and is on every Saturday, he's able to fool some people. Not among them.
I mean, maybe I bit the hook because, I reacted to it because
I reacted to it too, but like it was explaining and saying
because I feel like he actually believes what he's saying in that situation. I actually think he believes what he's saying.
You think he believes you don't buy my defense that he's a more tempered Skip Bayless?
It could be a little bit, but
it's certainly possible. I mean, look who is paying his bills.
I mean, it's interesting you approach that concept, especially with how fiscally tied they are. By the way, can I get a marching band remix of the Imperial March? Because I think ESPN should be blasting that ish. Hell, they own the rights.
That's true. That would actually be real cool.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Welcome.
Yeah, but my personal favorite is the person that said it's stupid to not want to play football games and do your job as a football player and play football. I think it's even stupider to risk millions of dollars to play a game that's an exhibition.
Thank you.
What do I know? I just work here.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I've seen like a lot of people posting the clip of Byron Leftwich being carried on one leg, and I'm like, look, man, if a guy wants to do that, I'm not faulting any player who does choose to go play, and if they get hurt and they want to tough it out, I'm not faulting them for that. I'm just saying, let's not criticize a kid who has realized over, the course of time that this game will chew you up, spit you out, and they don't care if you get hurt. Nobody cares if you get hurt. And if you blow out your knee or anything in that last bowl game, that doesn't matter. Yes, ESPN, the Rose Bowl doesn't matter as much as you want it to. The Sugar Bowl doesn't matter as much as you want it to.
There's so many people drinking the damn Kool-Aid on the Rose Bowl, though. I mean, I don't mean to be this guy, but gosh.
I'm with you, man.
I five for the man, but listen, I'm of the school of Elsa on this one. Let it go.
Like, here's the thing. It's not even the same as it was back in the day when a Big Ten champion and a Pac-10 champion couldn't play in any other bowl game.
Correct.
So this was their opportunity to try to make a case to get somebody in the media or the coaches to vote them as a national champion. And it worked sometimes, but it didn't work a lot of times. Now you literally just have a not Big Ten champion, Ohio State, playing against a Pac-12 champion. And I mean, they looked good for 8 minutes, and then Ohio State, with 3 of their actual starters playing, went, "Are we going to play now? Okay, we're going to play now." And it's that nothing matters anyhow.
It was a scene out of My Cousin Vinny. We're like, "Oh, you mean they're not Utes? They're Utes
to use,
so I can hit them because they're of actual consenting age." Okay, right. Cool. Let's do this.
So like these big bowl games, they don't matter any more than the first bowl game on December the 16th. They don't.
I get the pomp and circumstance of the Rose Bowl, but I have not. Probably the last time I cared about the Rose Bowl was probably the Texas USC game, honestly.
Well, and that's the Rose Bowl committee's fault. They could have played ball and been part of the championship. They refused to.
Yeah.
Your loss. Utah Ohio State was fun. It was fun, but do I really care in a grand scheme?
I didn't watch a second of it.
Did not watch.
I didn't watch a second of it. Once the clock hit 0 on the Fiesta Bowl, I was done.
Background noise.
Let's be honest, I was done before the end of the Fiesta Bowl. But
and again, it goes my theory about me in bowl games. I don't care. Is that I don't care. You make it easy to not care about it now. So cool.
If it's a good matchup, I'll stick with it.
Yes.
Utah, Ohio State was not a good matchup. Now that's nobody's fault.
Fun game, but
right, exactly. Somebody's fault per se, other than the Rose Bowl for not allowing themselves to be part of the playoff structure. But
fuck them. Hey, but fuck them. If you don't want to get fix their problems, then fuck them.
I mean,
you get my eyes.
Kyle, Georgia or Alabama? Georgia 3-point favorite. 52.
I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
Damn, the whole real reason I was trying to come in late and not do this is because I don't have a damn clue. Are you serious right now? Like, which Alabama or which Georgia are we going to bleed and see? Right?
Right.
Which, by the way, to answer your question from way back at the beginning of the season about is Clemson that bad or is Georgia that good? And I said it could be shades of both. Having seen Auburn in person now by way of the Cheez-It Bowl, it's a little of both, just like we were talking about. That defense, real damn good. That's why Georgia only scored 10 points. And why they only scored 3 is because Georgia has a really good defense. Their offense, listen, I know you want to talk trash on Uliangalele because you can't say his name and he's against your team. By the way, Ron Jeremy, thank you, you're welcome.
Well played, sir.
I went ahead and have to say, like, I thought of you sitting in that press conference, looking at those stats and listening to Dabo talk about his defense after he had us wait for an hour and a half between coaches, but that's okay.
Dabo.
So yeah,
your boy.
That being said, once he does get to talking, he is fun to listen to. I'm not going to deny him that.
But yeah, I said it. I don't have any reason, at least to me, I don't have any reason to believe I'm going to see something different than I saw literally a month ago today. I think Alabama's just going to do to Georgia what Alabama did to Georgia a month ago. All Georgia can do at this point is prove me wrong.
I think the score will be closer, but I'm not. Listen, at the end of the day, am I brave enough? Who am I, Lord, likely to bet against? Nick Saban or Kirby Smart? Pitches, please.
There you go. I think that might be about the perfect way to put that. That's a pretty great way to put that. All right. As we near the end of the football season, the NFL season, a lot of rumors start to come around about what coaches are staying, what coaches are going. But here's one that I saw earlier today, and it seems like it may be picking up. I don't know if it's more steam or if it's just more clicks. Time will tell over the next couple of weeks. Before we get to the coaches that may be on the NFL hot seat, there's been a little bit of buzz that there's at least two teams, one particular being the Las Vegas Raiders, that may be trying to sway Jim Harbaugh out of Ann Arbor. Do you think there's any smoke there, Kyle?
Listen, there are two things that hold true for me. One of the saddest days in recent history for me as a one who purveys 49er football is when Trent Baalke won the battle, or not Trent Baalke, I'm sorry, Jed York won the battle between him and Jim Harbaugh as to who was going to stay and who's going to go. You've seen what the 49ers have done since until John Lynch took the helm, right? So there's that. Jim Harbaugh is an excellent coach. I really don't understand why people talk trash on him. All these Ohio State fans, I thought they were cute. Oh, yeah, it's great. They extended Jim Harbaugh. Who's laughing now, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Yes. I tried to warn you, MFers, but you didn't want to listen. I tried to tell you, but you didn't want to listen. Sound familiar, Jim? Anyways, so the potential for him to be there and the fact that the Raiders are the ones in the talk holds more steam, because while it's not public knowledge necessarily, there are people out there who hold grudges. May I submit Bill Belichick, for example, is one who will probably smash the Cleveland Browns every opportunity he gets, right? Yes. I think Harbaugh's in that same place with the 49er organization. I don't think it's the fault of anybody necessarily there in the organization now. I just think now the colors of red and gold are going to forever irk him. And what better way than to suit up in black and silver right across the bay to show them, how was it that the great rapper Shaquille O'Neal put it? How his ass tastes. So, do I think it's going to happen? No, but I can see it's not that there's smoke where there's fire. I just think that there's a smoldering cigarette that was put out there.
Yeah, plus the fact that the season just had this year with Michigan, final break with Ohio State, cracked the Final Four and all that. I can't see him all of a sudden say, okay, I'm done now. No, I don't see it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at is I don't think you take the agreements. And here's the thing. Do I think there was a lot of people, beating the door of his office down last year to try to get him to go somewhere? No, last year, by all accounts, if you're trying to please the quote unquote shareholders of your team, which are your fan base, I don't think, and again, last year was crazy in college football, but Michigan had a terrible year with the COVID season. I don't think anybody is beating the door down to get him to leave, but I don't think you take the pay cut. I don't think you readjust the coaching staff and overhaul everything, have the year that you had. And your whole goal, theoretically speaking, if you believe coaches at press conferences, is to restore that program, and a program that he played at and he loved. And that's his home. I don't think that you go through all of that, do what you did this year, and then go, yeah, we did it, guys. No, there's no room to grow, and that team, by all accounts, should probably even be better next year because they were fairly young on both sides of the ball. And you have, I can't think of the receiver's name. The guy got hurt in week 1, is coming back next year. So there's a whole reason to believe that team's going to be even better next season. So yeah, I don't personally see it. Let's see here. Harbaugh has more security now at Michigan since the victory of Ohio State. Fails in Vegas. Would you really have a better job in college football? Him? No, I don't think there is a better job.
College football isn't the question, though. And listen, a lot of the stuff there by the commenter, thank you for that, by the way, is spot on. However, and let record show, I completely agree with both of you, right? And I know that. What's that?
It's rare.
Hey, when you get it right, you get it right, EJ. Unfortunately, that's also rare too. But but because EJ's in the security van tonight, he can run the lie detector test and can tell that I honestly believe both of you. However, I'm going to put my devil's advocate hat on because there are some things that are actually good points. You mentioned, for example, Jim, the year he's had. The year he's had right now, the stock ain't going to get higher for Jim Harbaugh unless he gets a national championship.
Right. I was going to say, unless you win a title.
Right.
Which, I mean, my God, man, you expect him to repeat all of this next year? Okay, damn, right? That's just rough. I mean, and if he does, I'll be the first to buy him his weed. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is this: there's that whole situation, and people talk about stability, gentlemen. The Harbaughs don't seek stability; they earn it with their coaching jobs. John Harbaugh hasn't gone anywhere because he's a damn good coach.
Yep.
Jim Harbaugh left only because it became a pissing match at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
And where did he go in the name of loyalty? His flipping alma mater. Who has it better than us? Nobody, right? Well, so with all that being said, it's the same thing that led Urban Meyer to it. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm evoking that name, but I have no reason to believe that Jim Harbaugh will be that big a disaster. He's a former NFL head coach. Duh.
Right.
A Super Bowl.
I was going to say almost a Super Bowl winning NFL head coach.
I mean, I could get into to how that could have gone, but let's be honest, they had some breaks go their way as well. I mean, I'm my only issue was Jimmy Smith handling Michael Crabtree in a particular way that I would be it would be #MeToo if I did that to anybody on a date. Anyways, so with Jim Harbaugh, he can go up. He's still a young dude, and I still think he might be trying to fill that Super Bowl void. Okay.
Of course.
Now, if you're going to do that, going to a place that just was, let's just say, relieved of the burden of a monstrous $100 million 10-year contract, hell, anything he signs with them will be cheap compared to whatever Chucky was commanding. Hell, it might, the savings might be even the same number as the box office from Chucky when it actually came out. Who knows? But yeah, if you're looking for conspiracy theories, those are some reasons why it could stick. Personally, I don't think it does either.
Yeah, we will see. All right, so there was a few names that I went down. Some or most seem obvious. One seems a little bit interesting, but we'll get there. We'll start in Denver. Vic Fangio, 7-9 this year, 11-29 overall in his time in Denver. Do you believe this? And this isn't a.
Are you doing percentages?
To be fired.
Are you doing percentages? Chance of getting fired? Or are you looking at 1 to 10?
However you want to do it. Let's do percentages. Let's do percentages.
Okay.
And this isn't even like, does he deserve to be fired? This is more,
will he
gonna get fired? Because there's a couple of guys that have only been here, been with their teams for a couple of seasons. So like you can
there's some coaches that didn't make it that far.
Right. There's one that's been there for a long time, and we'll get there. But like this is so it's more because you can always make an argument one way or the other. Yeah, they deserved it. No, they need more time, whatever. This is more, do you think it's going to happen? So Vic Fangio in Denver, 7-9 this year, 11-29 overall. EJ.
I'm going to say 20% chance he gets fired. I think he'll stay there. They haven't been great, obviously. They haven't been horrible either. It's been they've been what we thought they'd be, an average team. They still have an answer at quarterback. I mean, I like Teddy Bridgewater, but he's not the answer.
They are what we thought they were.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, they'll run it with 7.5 wins this year. They're at that marker there. So, I mean, no surprises here.
Kyle, we lost EJ.
Well, I'll put it this way.
My bad.
And this is not a shot at you, EJ, but when you can definitely see your division winner clinch early after Kansas City had the start they did, and you could do nothing about it, that's a strike against you.
Okay.
When you're performing the way you have been, that's a strike against you. Whenever you put yourself in the mercy of the team, and will they be understanding of the situation he had this year? Because it was a bad one. You're in trouble. You're already worse than 50% if you have to deal with those three things. So I have him at 70%. Do I think he should? No. But I have it at 70%, and who knows? Maybe I just don't have enough faith in humanity on this one.
This is year 2, right?
Yeah, 11-29. That's year 3, I believe.
Ooh, then you know what?
I may be
a little higher. No, I thought it was year 2. That's why. Because typically the 3 years is only the benchmark. Unless you're really.
Here's my answers if you need to copy them.
Shut up. I'll go 40%.
By the way, anybody wondering what those actually were? Those are, holy snap. Those are my notes from the 2018 Camping World Bowl.
Oh wow.
Wait, was that Notre Dame LSU?
No, that was actually the Citrus Bowl. The Camping World Bowl was West Virginia and the Orangemen of Syracuse. Yes.
Okay, because I know Notre Dame played in the Camping World Bowl one year.
God, what horrible weather that day.
Oh, gross. All right, I'll go like 55. I think when you started the year, now again, they came out of the gate and they didn't really play anybody. When you start the year in first and the best team in football is at the bottom, and Kyle, like you said, the whole script flipped and there was nothing they could do to stop it. That's not a good sign. Again, whether deserving or not the argument here.
Well, this Kansas City though. Come on now.
Shut up. Mike Zimmer.
You don't even think so this week. Have you seen your top 10?
Even Jim's was really nice. We'll get to it later on.
The Vikings 7-9 this year. Mike Zimmer 71-56-1 in his tenure with Minnesota. Kyle, where are you at with him?
Do I think he's gone? 90%. This kid is Clay Aiken. He is out. Okay. Should he go? No, this is not his fault. Okay. Kirk Cousins and his guaranteed damn contract. We've been trying to tell you people before you signed it. Hell, I was proud of the way that the then WFT, aka the soon to be Red Tails, don't blow this, because they're about to release their product.
They're going to blow it.
They're going to blow it. But I mean,
it's going to be like Admirals, Sentinels.
Very second.
Please note the franchise. Shall we continue? Minnesota needs a scapegoat and a fall guy at this point. Because, I mean, to be honest, with the way the bottom of the NFC has been struggling, the fact they aren't at the top of that, I mean, we're not talking the cream of the crop. I'm just talking about the stuff that you use for yogurt. They couldn't even get there. Okay. So, they need a scapegoat, and they've got the scuttlebutt on Zimmer to do it. And he'll be hired somewhere else as somebody's coordinator. Maybe he'll end up in Jacksonville working with their defense. That would be awesome for them.
Possibly. EJ.
Should he get fired? No, I'm with Kyle on that one, but he will. In fact, I'm going to put a 99.9% chance he gets fired. I've been
even more confident than me.
I even said all year long when the year the season started, he was the number one person on top of the list. Him and Net Nagy, the two guys I looked at as the guys under the most pressure this year coming to the year. And obviously the Vikings missed playoffs again. Obviously, there's a lot of things that happened between COVID and all that. But ultimately, as Kyle said, and I agree with him, scapegoat. And where do you go? Go to the coach. The thing is that here's the problem. Can they do better than Mike Zimmer? I don't know.
I would be very, very fascinated to see if they do some of these other options out there, like a Byron Leftwich, like an Eric Bieniemy. Although I don't think Bieniemy's going to do. I think we'll see. And I've kind of trapped myself because I went against my own stuff I've said. Bieniemy and Leftwich are two guys who I think aren't going anywhere because someone's whispered in there, "Hey, we're going to hand you the ball." Andy Reid can only do this, can only be the Kool-Aid man for so long before his health's going to fail. And
Bruce Arians, ditto.
Bruce Arians can only be an old guy so long before his health's going to fail, right? So, I think they're heir apparents in both cases. So, as much as people, scream, "Oh, they haven't been interviewed and hired somewhere else." Listen, when this happens and I'm proven right, I can tell all you racist conspiracy theorists that there was a plan.
Yeah.
By design, man.
I'm going to say Mike Zimmer. I'm going to say like 75%. I think he is going to be the fall guy. Don't think it's all his fault at all. All right. Then we go to Carolina. Matt Rule, 5-11 this year, 10-22 in his 2 years with Carolina. EJ.
2% chance. I don't think it'll happen pretty much. I mean, you got to give it at least some sort of thought, but they made a long-term investment in this guy. What was it, 7-year contract, we said?
7 years, yeah.
Yeah, long-term investment. This is year 2 of that investment. Obviously, the way they fell apart this year, bringing Cam Newton in late and things going to shit, obviously not a good look. But it's a long-term investment here. So I don't think they get fired, but I'll leave at least a 2% chance that it'll happen.
Kyle.
I'm freezing cold on this take. Absolutely 0. It will not happen. The reason why I say that is I believe
0.0.
Correct. Well played, Jim. So there you go. So and it wasn't even an advertisement. So the reason why I say all that is if you notice the Dolphins, when they first brought in Brian Flores, it's looking a little similar, right? He comes in. What's the first thing they do? They get a low risk, high reward concept to come in at quarterback and see what they can do. No, I'm not referring to the bearded one, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm referring to Josh Rosen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Rosen comes in, awful.
Say the least.
Right.
Understatement, but yeah.
Well, I know I know you're well aware of what I'm talking about, Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
But what I do want to add though is, what is the equivalent here? Sam, I really thought he'd be better than this, Darnold, right?
Yeah.
Again, low risk, low reward kind of situation, and he fell apart. And it's okay. You know, the fans got a little bit of a hype. I think Cam Newton coming in was not a football move. I think it was purely a PR move to keep the fans distracted and happy.
Carolina fan base loves Cam Newton.
Oh, and listen, Cam Newton is lovable. I'll say the same thing here as I did on the Football is Awesome podcast with EJ Christian, as he soon will launch his Op Nation 2.5 network. The whole thing, the only thing I had a problem with Cam Newton coming back is he is being set up to fail. Give Matt Rule a little bit more time to build this. I think he's a good coach. I don't know where all the Matt Rule hate came from, unless it's all scuttlebutt and scapegoat. So, you know, what do I know?
All right, this is the interesting one, and I think in terms of Matt Rule, I think it's 10%. I mean, you have 2 bad years. I guess it's always a possibility in the business of the NFL, but I don't think you make a 7-year investment in a guy if you're willing to part ways after 2 years. If it was a 4-year deal, halfway through, not looking great, peace out. But yeah, 7 years is a long time. This is one, and I think it has to do more with what is likely to be a offseason of major change in Seattle. Pete Carroll, 5-10 this year, 117, 73 and 1 in Seattle. Obviously, they've had Super Bowl titles. They've had a lot of success with him. Things are turning. Russell Wilson, very unlikely to be there. That defense, if you look back to a couple of years ago, fairly unrecognizable anymore. It's been a rough couple of years for Seattle. With the offseason of change, what do you think the odds are that Pete Carroll is not the head coach of the Seahawks next year, Kyle?
I think the odds are 50-50. I think he should be out. I think he should be a fat kid in dodgeball. He's been hit with the ball too many times, and because you've slowed down, you were not in touch with this game anymore. And let's not act like there haven't been typical Pete Carroll-esque flaws that have been out there that people just happen to have happily ignored because of a modicum of success, right? People got on Tom Coughlin for a lack of clock management. Ladies and gentlemen, Pete Carroll, I am in print back in 2012 about how bad he manages clock. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there, right? So it's nice when you have, Russell Carrington Wilson to bail you out, and the Legion of Boom, and at times Marshawn Lynch and various other and sundry pieces. However, those days have faltered, my good friends, and it's I believe Janet Jackson should be the spokesperson for how exposed Seattle has become, right? So the good thing to do is to ask Russ, hey, who can we get to keep you here? Outside of Sierra coaching the team herself, I think Seattle should throw a check at whoever he says. Because at the end of the day, so long as that person can bring in a staff that can field a good defense, they don't have to be the Legion of Boom, although that would be nice. They just need to be able to put in a competent defense and not make horrible GM decisions like picking a safety over a left tackle for your aging quarterback who is already damn frustrated. So, yeah. Now, that being said, another there's talk of, is there scuttlebutt of Jim Caldwell in Jacksonville? But
he interviewed today.
What's that?
He interviewed today, actually.
Yeah, there you go. And that is the scuttlebutt in question. That's better than scuttlebutt. You got a point, EJ. So, but of the candidates, I feel like Seattle has the potential to be a good job. They're not a smart fan base, but they are a what's his word? Excited and energetic fan base in Seattle. But yeah, to take it all there, I see 50-50 because for whatever reason, Pete Carroll, even the questionable nature of his departure from USC that got him there, he still commands a lot of respect.
Sure. Jason, I do see your comment. We'll hit that at the end of this topic list. EJ, your
first off, if they were a smart fan base, they would be trying to run Russell Wilson out of town, number one.
Well played, Ernie. Give that man a bell, Jim.
Give me that.
If you think Russell Wilson's the problem, you're an idiot. In discussion, you're an idiot.
I mean, that might be your best comment in 2022. We're off the ground, son.
You have a three-pronged problem here. It's who stays, who goes. Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, or the GM, John Schneider. 2 or 3 might be gone. I think I put my money on Pete Carroll and the other guy. I'm putting Pete Carroll at 75% and getting can, or him even saying I'm done. He's reporting.
It's possible that maybe they go to him and say, "Hey, you're going to be gone. Do you want to say goodbye yourself?"
I guess the question is the ownership. Who do they prioritize the most? The quarterback, the coach, or the GM? And who should they prioritize? To me, it should be the quarterback because I'm sorry, Russell Wilson is still a top 10, 8 quarterback in the league.
Just say future Hall of Famer and let's get past
right.
that.
Like, we got a lot of friends of mine who are Seattle fans that, we just need draft picks. Draft picks are just something out there. It's not guaranteed to work. Okay. If you have a top 10 quarterback, you just don't get rid of it because you want to. That's not how it works. Look at these teams throughout the years. Look at the Miami Dolphins for the last 23 years. Still trying to find a quarterback. The last time I had a great quarterback, I was in high school. Yeah, I'm now turning 42 in 3 months. Okay. This shit don't grow on trees. Okay. If you got a quarterback in his prime still who can still get the job done, at least get you to the playoffs.
I'm 40.
This guy.
You're not part of that guy. Okay. So it should be Pete Carroll being the scapegoat here because quite frankly, I've been saying for quite a while, Kyle even longer than me, but at least the last like 3 to 4 years, I'm heading back to the Super Bowl when he fucked that up, that Pete Carroll's been a problem and he got stale. So you side Russell Wilson here and Pete Carroll 75%.
Yeah, it's at least 50-50 to me. It probably even higher. Like, especially if this is going to be an off season of change. Why not? Like, otherwise you're just going to have a new team theoretically with the same old guy who's been getting progressively worse.
Because we really want to rebuild. Let's just start from scratch. Let's get draft picks for the quarterback, and then for the next 5 fucking years, you're 2-14, 3-13, whatever. 3-14. Yeah, let's do that. Look, you have examples of teams that have done that trick, and it has not worked.
Whether even Wilson's there or not. I mean, if you're looking at the fact that you're a 4, you're what a 5-win football team. You basically only have one way to go. So you have kind of bottomed out with.
But when you contextualize their season, he missed a month. Okay, yes. He missed a month of the season, number one. And this is the way I assess quarterbacks. And Kyle, you know my theory for the last like 8 years we're doing this podcast together. Elite quarterbacks don't guarantee you championships, but they guarantee you get into the playoff picture. Guys like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, you name it. Go through the list.
Let's say past the first round.
They give you 8 to 10 wins a year, no matter what. They're that good. And then whatever you get from a team around you is the extra sprinkles around it. That's the value of a quarterback like Russell Wilson. He gets you 8 to 10 wins a year, and he has been doing that prior to this season. So again, why are we having a discussion about Russell Wilson? Does it get rid of Russell Wilson get draft picks? It's idiotic.
I mean, we're not. You were having the conversation with yourself. It seems like.
Well, no, the conversation is out.
I know it's out.
His defense. Yeah.
I know it is out there. But like to me, this is more whether Wilson is there or not. You can change. This can still be an off season of change, even if you stay with Russell Wilson.
Indubitably.
That's the point, though. The Pete Carroll thing, but I think the Pete Carroll thing is important because I think the Russell Wilson thing is attached to the Pete Carroll thing too. If Pete Carroll's still here, Russ demands a trade. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the issue. That's the clash of heads there.
That we're going to find out if the organization's smart or not.
And EJ, you mentioned the Seattle fans that say draft picks. They're not wrong, okay? But Pete Carroll has proven what he can do with those draft picks, or rather, what he cannot do.
Right.
Those draft picks.
Right.
Go ahead.
Draft capital can be huge for a team. The Cowboys built a dynasty in the 90s off of draft capital.
I know how to use it, though.
Exactly. That's the key.
You came back into relevance building an offensive line and getting Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you had a guy who was the clapper as your coach.
Don't remind me.
Ooh, that cut deep.
It still hurts. Russell Wilson could do damage if he joined Carolina. He could do damage.
Honestly,
anything
that puts Russell Wilson on their team, they're automatically 8 to 10 win team.
Jacksonville is not 8 and 10.
I was going to say, I don't. There are
Houston is not. Well, maybe
exceptions to the rule. There's exceptions to the rule.
Very few.
But the Carolina point, I feel compelled to mention the division as a factor there too.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. This is the one that these next two we've pretty much kind of seen coming, but we'll get our opinions on it. The Bears 6-10 this year. Matt Nagy 34-30 in his tenure there. EJ, we'll start with you.
100%. He's gone. You were hearing reports last week that he's like get fired. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, that kind of thing. Now, does he deserve to get fired? I still think that's kind of a bit too harsh on that. I know some of the things he does in the play calling and whatnot, it could be a little questionable at times, but he has taken this team to the playoffs twice in his 4 years there. And I think as a Bears fan and as a franchise that has never had good quarterbacks ever, probably going back to Sid Luckman. I mean, seriously.
Your next best guy is Jay Cutler and Eric Kramer.
Exactly. Okay? So getting to the playoffs with Trubisky. I mean, that's. I don't think he probably. If I am the Bears, I would give him another year, but he's getting fired.
Kyle,
the asinine jackassery, the stupidity of all my friends who I know who are Bears fans. This is probably the stupidest moment I've seen them even utter as human beings, not just as football fans, but as human beings. You're telling me 1 + 1 doesn't even equal 2 if you think Matt Nagy's the problem. And I mean, no offense to our good friends GWS, TWLIO, and Controversy Raphael Haynes, okay? My controversy with you is that you think Matt Nagy's bad. You have got to be kidding me. I'm starting to talk like a wrestler over here. But I don't understand how you get the coach of the year your first year and turn Tribute, whatever the hell his name is.
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is, or
into a Pro Bowl player. I have met this human being at the Pro Bowl. How did that happen? Matt Nagy is his name, ladies and gentlemen. And unfortunately, he was using smoke and mirrors. And the mirrors eventually broke because the defenses figured out where they were.
Again,
that's how it happens.
Kyle, again, the guy went to the playoffs with this guy.
Trubisky or whatever the hell his name is.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yes, multiple times too, EJ. This wasn't no one-hit wonder. This wasn't no one-night stand. There aren't 99 Loft Red Balloons. He had other songs.
I love the...
He likes the drop for the 80s music.
Yeah, I feel that. Come on now.
Wow. So now you have a guy who I have said on the air in many places could be the best franchise quarterback in Bears history. Again, I know, low bar, chill out. And now you're going to fire him? The answer is
who? Bring back Mark Trestman then if you want to do that.
God.
Now, all that said, Kyle, and I'm not saying you're wrong. What are the percentages that he's fired?
100.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is. And it's the wrong move. I think he's going to land somewhere because he is a good coach. Where he lands, exactly what is he going to be a head coach? Is going to be a coordinator? We'll see. But Nagy will land somewhere in the NFL.
Maybe he gets a college gig. Who knows?
Maybe possible. Finally, Joe Judge 4-12 this year with the Giants, 10-22. Obviously, I mean that organization is a complete mess. EJ, start with you because you claim to be a Giants fan once in a previous life. What is the percentage that Joe Judge is fired in New York?
The more you look at the optics, based on what you're hearing from reports from New York papers and the tabloids out there, it looks like he's going to be safe for another year. That's what we're hearing.
Wow.
No, well, I mean, because it's only 2 years in.
Wow.
1 year's a COVID year. The vibe is that Dave Gettleman, the GM, will be the guy that's sitting on the sword this time. The reports are that Gettleman will be gone, and then after this week, Joe Judge will survive. Here's the issue, though, and I'm not sure how the ownership will play this out. Typically, when they hire a GM / president, whatever it may be, they bring their own guys in. So you have to still leave that possibility of him still getting canned, despite ownership saying he's safe for another year. So I'm going to leave it at 25%.
All right, Kyle.
What is the thing you hear most often before a coach is fired, EJ?
He's safe.
We have had this conversation on the Earnestly Speaking podcast with Ernest Christian. Years ago, talking about other coaches. Well, they said he was safe. EJ, what do they say every time? Fredo, okay?
I think it depends also on the who's available and who they get and what happened. This is what I said. The GM thing is the most important part of the puzzle. If he demands to bring his own guys in, and the ownership has been a mess last couple of years. So Tisha Mara has been they're not very progressive in the way they look at things. They like to hire 3 treads all the time. So I don't know. What the hell, Jason? What you say?
Like EJ's even getting.
I didn't say I wanted that. The question was, do you think he'll get fired? I said no, I don't think he will.
Kyle.
Yeah, no. You put it at 25%. I'm going to be a bit more pessimistic. There goes the judge. Is more kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be 50%. That I have that because to EJ's point, ownership in New York for New York franchises in general, let's say, not named the New York Knicks of late. Okay, so there you go.
I'll go right in the middle. I'll go like a 37.5%.
I
think EJ's right. The tone around it, and again, it could be smoke and mirrors, like Kyle said. But the tone is that he's like, what's the point of keeping him for the last week? Like, is it just because he seems like a relatively good dude? Like, is it like
1, he's a young coach. 2, he's only second year in. And he's liked by the players, especially too. So it's not like it's a guy they like him.
You don't need to execute him at midfield at the halftime.
Right, but this is why I'm saying that the GM, who they get, if Gelman goes, that's the big factor here. Like if the guy that they get the GM. But the thing is though, the Giants have always been conservative too about how they approach these things too. Like McAdoo got fired the second year only because he was a disaster. Period. In terms of just how he handled things. Pat Shermer got fired because he's bad with the media. So look at Joe Judge. He has the standing of a coach that knows what he's doing, I guess. Like he looks the part, but it's a bad team, a lot of injuries, all that. So unless the GM is not gonna force hand his own guys in there, I think it's surprising one more year. It's only a year too.
All right. Jason actually has one. This wasn't even the question that I was referring to. The 49ers lose to the Rams and the Saints win. 49ers miss the playoffs. Is there a chance Kyle Shanahan's gone?
No, but I will say, his seat will probably get a little warmer. Now, Kyle, you're a Niners fan in this panel, so
I am. Yeah, no, I have no reason to believe that he would get fired at this year. Simply because the leadership, the ownership, was aware of this as a transition year, gentlemen. Right? Like, why the bleep else do you keep a starting quarterback so injury prone who you are obviously and have told as much, hey, we are replacing you. Okay.
Right.
Now, granted, if it all goes well, what have I said before? They could pull the Phillip Rivers or the Charlie Whitehurst defense. It worked for San Diego back when they were still San Diego. So
they're still San Diego, my heart. San Diego Superchargers, San Diego Superchargers. Sorry.
No, I personally I stick with when the governor got involved. Go Chargers, go.
Oh,
anyways, so no, no, not yet.
Yeah, I don't think
John Lynch is a smarter man than that. There's too much writing to the wall to the contrary. I don't feel like it's a bad question necessarily, but the tea leaves as I have read them, and considering I read them and accurately predicted that they would not draft Mac Jones, I'm going to use those powers of tea leaf reading to say not yet. But EJ, listen, three great takes on this show tonight, definitely stating that the seat will get hotter next year should somehow
a little warmer. Because at some point you got to figure it out. Yeah.
So here was the question from Jason. He said a lot of first round pick quarterbacks have been huge disappointments. Who do you think should be worried to be traded, and what are the odds Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Steelers? And he also asked about Baker Mayfield.
Okay. This is easy.
Okay, so let's start with the first part of that question. Who I guess if we're talking quarterbacks, who is at the most risk of being traded?
I mean, when you say a lot of first round picks, are you talking about for the current year? I don't think anybody's really a disappointment. They're all drafted by crappy teams, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted,
like Trey Lance and Mac Jones and guys that ilk.
Right. I mean, now Mac Jones is obviously the outlier. He's doing pretty darn good. Just as Justin Herbert was a surprise last year, right?
Sure.
Baker Mayfield is obviously a nutcase. We're not breaking any news there, but that's not this year's class, right? I mean, Justin Fields is struggling with what he's struggling with. The Bears will be in cap hell, and eventually lose Fields, and he'll do great with the second team.
We thought they were.
Exactly. And then I think Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens to Jacksonville when they get competent coaching in the room.
Right.
That's a bad beat, man. Like. You can't have success there this year. I mean, like it wasn't going to happen. I don't care who it is.
Right.
I hope he succeeds. We will find out. I don't think anybody who's saying that Trevor Lawrence is a write-off case after this year is lazy.
Too early.
Has not been watching any Jaguars football.
Yeah,
I don't blame you for not watching Jaguars football,
Right.
but at least 3 or 4 times a game, he makes a throw that lets you go, oh, that's why they did it, right?
Right.
So
I know that given all the chaos happening on that team too all year with the coach, especially too. That's an anomaly. You have to give that time to simmer a little bit. Most important part of the Garoppolo part and
Garoppolo to the Steelers. The reason why I think that's interesting is
they need a transitional guy, right? They've done nothing. They've done nothing to address the fact that Ben Roethlisberger was aged 4 years ago.
But what about Haskins?
You know what I mean? So if you believe that there's talent and opportunity with this team, I think you need to go out and get a guy that's a bit battle tested. You don't need a guy. You don't need to draft a guy and expect him to come in and take over immediately.
Well, this is the thing. I think they are a quarterback away from being back in the picture again. As you see this year, with Ben being so as bad as he is, they are still technically in the playoff race going to week 18.
That's correct.
Mike Tomlin's incredible. I don't care what he says. The guy's incredible. This is going to be the year of not the free agent quarterback, but a year of the quarterbacks. Elite quarterbacks could be traded for. Russell Wilson,
a middle reliever,
right? Russell Wilson could be available. Aaron Rodgers, depending how this playoff run ends up, could be available. Garoppolo, you mentioned, could be available. So Garoppolo has this good chance going to Pittsburgh as anybody. I mean, honestly, I'm talking about guys because they're not bad enough to get a quarterback in the draft as it is anyway.
Right.
So they're going to have
one of the guys I golf with is a Steelers fan. We were just talking about that last weekend. They've kind of done that thing that the Cowboys did so many years, where they're bad enough to not win anything, but they're too good to get a great draft pick.
And don't forget Deshaun Watson, depending on how that thing plays out next couple months. Deshaun Watson, he could still be somebody they go after. So they'll be the market for somebody.
The Deshaun Watson market's going to be insane. First of all, I don't want to go on record calling Aaron Rodgers or Rusty middle relievers. Okay, the conversation for middle reliever was Jimmy Garoppolo.
I also don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere, despite how this playoff.
I don't know. We don't know how this plays out.
It's very interesting how they're talking, and it's very interesting the juxtaposition how Rusty negotiates through the media, and Seattle snaps right back into shape. Aaron Rodgers negotiates through the media, and now everybody thinks he's a prima donna. And people were talking about him prima donna long before Jim's smear campaign of Quanon started being a thing. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I think the guy's a fucking asshole. But I mean, I will also point out today, because there was a report that one of the MVP voters said that he won't vote for Aaron Rodgers because he's
a fucking idiot. Then don't be a fucking idiot.
And
hold on.
All the things I've said about Rodgers this year, I said if that is true, that person should have their privileges of voting for the NFL MVP removed.
You just showed yourself, you moron.
Like it's not. I don't care how you feel about the guy personally. The MVP is how they play on the field.
Yeah.
First of all, somebody give my man EJ a hug. Either he's very angry or he saw somebody committing a crime for the security van and he's on the clock.
I hate morons, dude. In 2022, I hate morons on purpose too.
And respectfully, EJ, Jim, I didn't hear what the actual declaration was, because rightfully so, EJ was voicing his frustrations. Can you tell me more precisely what it was? What he was saying?
There was a report that came out earlier today that one of the MVP voters said that Aaron Rodgers is a bad guy, and because of that, he does not deserve to be league MVP.
Wow.
So he's making the MVP vote political. Is that a safe interpretation?
Political and personal.
It could be the same guy that's say keep politics out of sports. Yeah. Okay. Fuck you. Anyway, that shit like that bothers me.
Do we know who that is? Like, is it Gary Washburn, the same guy that kept LeBron from being?
I don't believe it came out who the writer was.
Okay.
Or at least I didn't see as such. But to me, it's the same people that say, Terrell Owens doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because he was out of his mind. Like, no, the dude.
Because wow, I didn't get an autograph.
One of the best receivers ever. The guy's a Hall of Famer. Stop. He's a Hall of Famer. You may not like his antics. He's a Hall of Famer. At point end. Period.
Anything outside of harming people or killing someone, should be on the table. Sorry.
I mean, well, if we're gonna bring up
OJ still a Hall of Famer?
Who?
I get it. He was acquitted. Isn't OJ still a Hall of Famer?
I mean, that's a whole other discussion, though. But I mean,
right? But you know what I mean.
This does not make sense.
We do follow the law, right? We freedom. Remember freedom. The law.
Well, without making this a civil court too much, I do have the reason why I put an ounce. Granted, I still think he should be in the Hall of Fame. The reason why I give an ounce of credibility to people who criticize Terrell Owens, and it's pronounced Terrell. Sorry, Terrell, whatever.
Terrell
no, that's never mind. We'll get to that later. But the punchline is there was somebody who came out doing radio after I think it was Terrell Davis actually, and I could have that wrong, who came out on a radio spot shortly after his retirement where Terrell Owens was still playing, and part of his shtick when he was for his promo was, and it's pronounced Terrell. Like, it was a whole thing. It was funny. Mm-hmm. But in the case of Owens, the argument of him being a bit of a locker room cancer is a fair one. That being said, he's got enough things to balance that out, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah.
But yes, I agree with you, Kyle. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers should not be lumped with middle relievers.
Also, real quick,
now that we're back on the highway,
Baker Mayfield was mentioned on there, and for the record, that's easy. The Browns do nothing. You bring him back next year. He had no choice. His last year's contract, no new money. If he does well next year, you franchise him there after that. The Browns.
Right. I mean, you can point to the shoulder injury that never healed, and you can the Browns possibly dumb for continuing to play him, but I mean, is Case Keenum really a better option? That's a whole different argument. Yeah,
I would say you don't lose any ground.
The Baker Mayfield will and should be back under center to start the season next year with Cleveland.
He was off 5 years, then go from there.
Does he finish out the year as the starter in Cleveland? I don't know. Do I still believe the thing that I've been saying for multiple seasons, that the Browns' biggest problem is arguably, at least, Baker Mayfield? I will still.
It's definitely easier to pull a trigger on that on the fifth year, because if you recognize by week 10 next year he's not your future, you can do that on a lean buck year. Next year, the year do that.
Absolutely.
Are we in this space to believe that this front office hasn't already made that decision?
Money wise, I know how it works. You're paying him fucking pennies right now at this point. It's rookie.
Right, but they're looking to already replace him. Like, I've heard a theory put out, and this might have been a Colin Cowherd thing. I'm not sure. Like, people are moving to replace you a year or so before it actually happens.
Well, I'm sure,
especially in a space, right? Especially in a space where you're drafting, quarterbacks and the like. Like, they are looking to replace that man, right? Yeah,
possibly.
So the only thing you have to worry about in this scenario is the Joe Flacco anomaly. And I'll leave it at that.
Right. But Garoppolo to Pittsburgh, I think is an interesting thought because, like I said, Mason Rudolph ain't the guy. And I think that team is good enough with good enough coaching to make some noise if you bring in a good quarterback.
The only stumbling block with that would be I don't know that Jimmy Garoppolo takes the money that a Rooney contract would entail.
Fair. And, we've seen both quarterbacks that played under center for Pittsburgh this year get beat up because their weakest point is their offensive line. Can Garoppolo stay healthy if he plays a season in Pittsburgh with that offensive line? That's the only other question there. Okay. I was going to talk about the NFL play, like the playoff picture, but I feel like with the 7 games that I picked, we're going to kind of work the discussion into those 7 games because really it's these 7 games. I left out the Cowboys and Eagles. I think there may be one other game with teams that have potential
seeding stuff,
playoff seeding stuff. But I feel like these are kind of the biggest 7 as we go into the first ever week 18, the final week of the NFL season, in terms of how this whole thing is going to shake out. We'll touch on where we're at. Like the AFC is currently sitting Tennessee, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. The Bengals, Chiefs, and Titans have clinched their division. Bills, Patriots have clinched playoff spots. In the hunt is the Colts, Chargers. They are sitting in the playoff spots.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders, Steelers, Ravens are on the outside looking in. In the NFC, the Packers have clinched first place in the NFC. The road to the Super Bowl goes through Green Bay. Rams have clinched a playoff spot. Buccaneers clinched a division. Cowboys clinched a division. Cardinals clinched playoff. Eagles have clinched the playoffs. The final spot available, 49ers are in the spot. The Saints are on the bubble. So looking at the games, we start Saturday, 4:30 on ESPN. It is the 11-5 Kansas City Chiefs, 9.5-point road favorite at the Denver Broncos, who are 7-9. 44 is your over-under there. The Chiefs need to win if they want to have a shot at home field. For me, again, look at where Denver's going. Look at where they've been trailing the second half of the year. The Chiefs need to win. I think this is a great spot for Kansas City. I think they win and cover. They might cover the 44 themselves. Just right now, I would not want to be the Denver Broncos right now.
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
Especially last week.
Chiefs plus and over, Kyle.
To be honest, they're going to try to win, but what the hell is the point? It's the Titans playing the Texans. That being said, the Texans put up a fight against the 49ers, and how very Titan a thing would it be to blow this game to the Texans? And I'm also cheering for it too. Why? Because I picked the Titans to win 11 games, and damn it, I still feel like I was right and got screwed by Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the interception that I did in the alleged quality win that EJ keeps talking about. Listen, at the end of the day,
the Texans did just beat the Titans. I mean, we'll get there, but the Texans just did beat the Titans a month and a half ago.
Oh, there's that. Excuse me. I just don't expect them to be swept. I don't think it's unreasonable for me to not expect them to be swept by the Texans.
It's been a weird year, though.
That being said, if it's me and I'm the Titans, whatever. You want the top spot that bad? Go ahead and take it, Casey. Whatever. Of course, that's the one way to make them dangerous, right? And to EJ's Chiefs, what do the Broncos have? How can they actually possibly compete? At the end of the day, I don't care how many interceptions Mahomes throws. I don't care how many big passes the Chiefs defense gives up. Bridgewater is not explosive as the quarterback if he's even playing quarterback this week.
I was say, is he even coming back, or is it still Drew Lock?
I think it is still Drew Lock. I mentioned that because he's the best option they have, and he's not playing. Is my point. Right. So at the end of the day, I'll put it this way: somebody's going to be on the Chiefs sideline going, "All right, we made the over. Go ahead and pull him." Which is why the number is set where it's at. I have no reason to think Patrick Mahomes is second place this entire game. I got the Chiefs, EJ.
I like how you took Jim's role, EJ.
I'm getting the fanhood the hell out of the way and saving us all a roll.
Chiefs cover. I'll take the I'll take the under this one. I think it'll be like a 37 to like 3 game.
All right. Then we go Sunday, 1:00 on CBS. The 9-7 Indianapolis Colts, 15.5 point road favorite at 2-14. Jacksonville 44. Also, your over under here. I mean, the Colts are going to win the game. Like, I don't think there's any dispute there.
We said that about the Raiders too.
We did.
No. You said that, and you said that, and the other guy who decided to show up.
Sir, you did not pick the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm not done yet.
No.
I get to be a dick because you guys are
badass out here. You did not say the Raiders were going to win.
I did not say that. I said to be frisky and they keep the game close.
Right.
And third, I wasn't there, so don't tell me you said shit to me.
When I said it, I literally got so much shit from Matt saying it.
You did. I gave you shit too, and I was wrong. The Raiders won. Be hilarious if that chair fell down in the van. But all that said, I mean, I'm not saying the Raiders are good. I'm saying they're better than the Jaguars.
The Raiders are 9-7 and might make the fucking playoffs, and we're still having this conversation right now.
Based on the tough start before all the ish went down. I mean, let's call that what it is, or based on the good start rather.
Yeah, they're not good, but
all right.
I'm not saying the word because I refuse to.
You're just frisky.
The only question is, do the Colts cover 15.5?
Hell yeah.
They should.
They will.
I'm going to say they don't. I'm going to say it's going to be like 12-13, and I will go the under. EJ.
16. They're going to cover 16 points, in fact, here. I got it at 16 here. They're covering 16 points. Okay, they're going to cover because they smell blood here. And after that loss last week, too, against the Raiders, they want to come out and put a point. So give me the Colts to cover 16, and I'll take also the under.
All right, Kyle.
EJ, you're boasting the wrong thing. You should be talking shit here. It's not your Raiders frisky bullshit. It's the fact that you called the Colts doing better 2 months ago, and they have been since. And they're on that. What?
That let me down last week, though. They should have won that game last week, though.
They should have.
Yeah.
What? Get over yourself. Everybody has a shitty loss in the league this year. Stop it. Okay.
Is that loss yesterday? She lost last week
to the Raiders.
Yeah, that's a bad loss. It's a bad loss at home against the Raiders. Bad loss.
I mean, that'd be Dallas for too. Forget that.
Who, the Raiders?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah. The Cowboys have been failing.
Are we bringing up? Listen, Cowboys fans. Okay, we've been over the Cowboys.
Hold on, wait. My logic was this. My whole logic was this: was that the fact the Raiders always once every 3 weeks win games they shouldn't be winning. That trend has continued now this year.
Still a bad loss. It's still a bad loss for the Colts. Good win for the Raiders. Bad loss for the Colts.
Fair. That I'll agree with you.
So, anyways, as I was trying to give credit for the one good take you've had. I'm kidding. You've had 3. So the go Joe Buck yourself. Here he goes.
Joe Buck yourself.
You can't be a voice actor on this show. This dude's got a clip for everything. No, but
maybe he steal them all the time.
Goddamn right I did.
You can't handle the truth though. That issue is weird to me.
Wow,
Jim.
Where's yours, Kyle? You had it for years.
Oh no, that I transitioned my studio.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, I used to have that. I don't right now. I don't have because people don't hear the soundboard when I do it. I don't even want to get into it right now. It's frustrating. Punchline is this: the Colts have been playing good enough to have thought they should have beaten the Raiders, and they're going to use this game to get back on track. If I am the coaching staff, I have learned that you spank that ass, as somebody who is a Giants fan may recognize from Michael Strahan. Since EJ is not, he will not. But the punchline is this. The Jags quit some time ago, okay? I mean, like, I have no reason to believe that anybody other than Trevor Lawrence and the offensive line, whose job it is to make sure he doesn't die, has really kind of tapped out on this year.
Yeah.
When that happens, the Colts are going to just run roughshod. Maybe a few weeks ago, there's a possibility that they pull off against the Colts what they do against the Bills. Not in this contest. I will be in the building to let you know the exact degree they look downtrodden. I have the Colts cover and all.
All right. This is a game that I thought should have been flexed to Saturday, not the Cowboys and Eagles, because I think there's
flex days games like that?
I don't know how all that shit works with a week 18.
It's actually gotten more confusing. He's
right. It's all bad. But anyway, this is a game that both teams need to win. They need other things to happen as well, but both teams need to win. It is a rivalry game. It is the 8-7-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. What could be and should be really Roethlisberger's last game with the Steelers at the 8-8 Baltimore Ravens, who are a 4-point home favorite. 42 is your over under 1:00 on CBS. The Ravens have to win this game, right? Like they have to. Like, and I get they have to if they want to even try to make the playoffs. But even outside of that, they have to. They're the better team, right? Like this Ravens team is baffling to me, and the downfall. And I get Lamar hasn't played in weeks, but like I thought they should still be better. Pittsburgh, with the exception of one or two plays, I don't think really showed me anything to believe that they should win this game on the road in Baltimore. So give me Baltimore plus. I'll take the under, because what did Roethlisberger have? 16 passing yards last night? Like, that's not – I think it was under 100.
124, I think it was. But
was it? Okay, did he finally clear 100? But either way, it's not good. It's not. But I'll take the under because I don't think either offense is really performing that well right now. Kyle.
You know, the thing about the Ravens is interesting. Like the story that the Cincinnati Bengals fighting in a tough division and getting absolutely no respect for it is asinine, especially since I was talking about the Ravens being a potential Super Bowl candidate until they turned in 4, 3, 1-point losses. I don't know that I have literally ever seen a team with more 3-point losses than the Baltimore Ravens in this season. And if there are, I don't remember them. So there's that. You want a reason why the Steelers have been good? His name's TJ Watt, not Ben Roethlisberger. Let's be clear. Okay. But for the fact that something like that has to occur to subdue this team, as much as I've been banging the drum for the Bengals, and they took advantage and dominated when they were supposed to, more than the Kansas City Chiefs had, that's a damn sight. The only reason I'm picking the Ravens is that Ben looks that busted. And as somebody who likes Ben as a quarterback, again, another example where I separate the art from the artist, Ben is a great quarterback. And I'm glad I got to see him quarterback in person. And it's fitting that he goes out in a Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers game. But unless he pulls some Kobe Bryant-esque, one last one for the fans-ish, I got the Ravens here.
EJ.
I will take Pittsburgh on the points, though. But Ravens win this game in a close one. And I'll also take the under.
All right, then we go to Sunday at 1:00 on CBS. It is the 11-5 Tennessee Titans win, and the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC goes through Tennessee. They are 10.5-point road favorites at 4-12. Houston 43 is your over under there. The reports out of Tennessee is that I don't think they're not activating him for this week, I don't believe, but Derrick Henry.
They're saving him for the playoffs, is my understanding.
Yeah, we'll be back for the playoffs.
According to reports from my friend Teron Davenport.
There we go. Yeah, they don't need him. They shouldn't need him to beat Tennessee or to beat Houston.
And yet.
And yet, like I said, they lost to him a month and a half ago. Do I think lightning can strike twice? I do not. If memory serves, it was like a windy, rainy day in Tennessee. Tennessee has the benefit of going on the road into a dome to play the Texans. I think the Titans are going to win this game. I think the Texans have a shot at covering 10.5, though. Because again, Derrick Henry changes this team, but I still don't think this team is very good. So I think the Texans will cover. I will take the under. EJ.
I think Tennessee smells blood. I think they're gonna get to the finish line and they'll get the 1 seed in the AFC. I have to be honest with you. Kyle and I both been on the whole wagon of the Tennessee is good, not good enough. They're good, the playoff team to win the South, that kind of thing. But once they get to the playoffs, they're probably one and done. The AFC is wide open. KC is not infallible. KC can lose. We've seen that this weekend. Okay,
and has lost.
When you add in the Derrick Henry factor to this now, especially if they get a bye week on top of that, going forward, you have to at least consider them as a contender because of the dynamics of the AFC. Now, if you put the Tennessee Titans in the NFC, different story. They're definitely one and done. They're probably not even division leader. They're probably a wild card team at best. So they smell blood here. So Tennessee wins this game. I'll also take the unders as well in this game.
Kyle.
You mentioned a lot of stuff about the Tennessee offense. You're forgetting that the defense is mediocre at best. All you need to do to subdue the impact that Derrick Henry can have is score points early and often. Not everybody can do that. The Kansas City Chiefs can do that when they don't suck. And, that's what they were trying to do, was compete with Kansas City first and foremost to get further in the playoffs. I see the logic. Here's the problem. Julio Jones is probably the most disappointing acquisition of this NFL season, considering what they expected from him. Okay. And we'll leave all that at that. Do I think they'll beat the Texans? Yes. Don't give me the smell blood crap. The Texans have nothing to play for either. Okay.
They're not blowing this game here. Man, look, they blew the game with Houston weeks ago and all that, but they also beat San Francisco. They also beat Kansas City. They also beat the Colts twice. So I mean,
they beat San Francisco because San Francisco turned the ball over.
Okay, fine, whatever. Who won the game?
I'm aware of that.
No. I'm not knocking you picking the Titans to win. I just don't believe with the take that they smell
blood. I don't look. I wouldn't put my money on them winning the AFC. I'm just saying that the dynamics of the conference makes them viable to at least consider them as a contender. That's all I'm saying. There's no way in that conference.
That's not even what I'm talking about.
Oh, by the way, we're talking coach of the year. Mike Vrabel?
No.
Why not? 12-5. If they win the 12-5
in the worst division in football, where they get to play the Jags twice, where they get to play the Texans twice, and he's lost to the Texans. I mean, really, this is the conversation we're having? If we're going to talk about coach of the year, why aren't we in Cincinnati right now?
That's what I'm saying. Those are my two guys, Vrabel and the other guy.
Oh, now you got two guys.
No,
Zach Taylor. If you're talking those two guys, Zach Taylor's the coach of the year.
Well, listen to my football's awesome, so you'll understand what I mean. As I mentioned,
because I mean, wasn't Tennessee the playoff team out of that division last year?
Yeah, of course. But again,
that's what I because I see people saying that LaFleur and Green Bay should be coach of the year, and I'm like,
no, they did this last year.
And I get it. Like, he's doing a great job. Don't get me wrong.
It's not a football reason for LaFleur. I think we could safely state that, right?
Right.
Keeping that ship floating.
Sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
Right. But again, you're in a bad division where you have dominated for how many decades now? Like, continuing to win that division, like, isn't what he's done for that franchise with everything else going on impressive? It's not coach of the year. Vrabel winning this bad division again, good, not coach of the year.
But I think you have to look at also the context of the fact that their best player missed more than half the year, and they somehow stayed
bad teams, and they've lost to bad teams.
They also beaten great teams too. They also beaten the Chiefs and they beaten the Colts twice. Okay, I mean we're doing this thing again. They beat the Bills also too, for the record. I mean, you want to keep doing it?
But there's more people with sustained success than the Titans, I think, is Jim's point.
Right?
We're going to have this conversation. Why aren't the Patriots and Belichick involved in the coach of the year here?
You mean this season or overall?
This season. That's what the coach
Zach
of the
Taylor,
award is this bleeding season, right?
Zach Taylor winning that division with the Bengals is more impressive than
Who
what
had
Mike
that?
Vrabel has
No,
done.
that I agree with. I'm just saying conversation-wise. These are the two guys.
But to me, that's not there's no conversation.
Okay.
If you agree with Zach Taylor's done a better job, that should be the coach of the year.
He's saying that their first place and second place, I can't sign off on that. I would put Belichick ahead of
Vrabel.
Vrabel at this point.
I probably would too.
You remember the conversation we were having back in what week did you get hurt? Like week 6, week 7? That Tennessee was fall off the face of the earth. And then they beat the Rams. And then they beat the fucking Rams. So again,
who have been
they fell off the face of the earth, and I still had them winning 11 games, EJ.
Yeah, they're I mean, that's week to week, of course, though, as they kept winning. I mean, they have quality wins. Look, they have big losses.
I had 11 games in September on the 3pointconversion.com. Bing!
Bing!
So there's a setup.
No, but again, I think the bad losses also you count up with the quality wins. They've beaten top 10 teams in our rankings week to week. The Bills, the Rams, Colts twice.
Well, we can have a conversation about your rankings too.
But again, but are Rams on top 5 team in the league right now?
What's that?
Are Rams on top 5 team in the league right now?
I'm not giving you a hard time about the Rams. That was
they beat
mostly
the Chiefs with Derrick Henry, by the way.
I don't know that, but they beat the Rams without Derrick Henry on the road.
And weren't like the Rams who have been dramatically inconsistent all year.
No, that was their first loss. No, what have 4 losses? I mean, again, we're pulling teeth here. I'm not saying I believe in the Titans anyway, but I'm saying they have done the things they needed to do to sustain what they need to do. That's all I'm saying.
You're changing the conversation again. We're back to you thinking Mike Vrabel is the second best coach of the year candidate. All I'm saying is I can't sign off on that.
I had Sean Payton for at least up to like week 11, week 12 in the conversation. Then they faded away too. So
do you want a hug? I'm here for you.
It's been a rough month.
No. My only argument here is saying is this: because of the dynamics of the AFC, because they're going to come back to the fold, you have to consider Tennessee in the conversation. Because I think them, like 6 other teams in that conference, I can see 6 of those teams in playing in the Super Bowl. I can see the Colts playing Super Bowl. I can see the Patriots playing Super Bowl. I can see the Bills playing Super Bowl. I can see the Titans. I can see the Chiefs, obviously.
Right.
I can probably, if they get on a heater, see the Bengals.
Again,
wide open.
You're going to say you can see the Titans in the Super Bowl. You better say you can see the freaking Bengals in the Super Bowl. That's all
straight.
Yeah. The only team. So the only team, and I agree, the AFC is more wide open than the NFC. And I think the only team that really shouldn't necessarily be in the Super Bowl conversation,
Chargers, Raiders,
is whoever ends up in the last spot.
Bingo.
Unless somehow it's Baltimore and Lamar gets healthy and the team rights itself. They are good enough.
If this situation was that if Derrick Henry was still out for the playoffs, I wouldn't be saying this shit.
Listen, okay, the Titans are a top 10 team. No one's arguing you there, buddy. That's where we're confused. You're like, whoa, and they did this and they did this. Time out, buddy. We're not disagreeing with any of that. Again, I'm just in a place, and I think Jim agrees with me, where you said Mike Vrabel as the number 2 candidate for coach of the year, and I can't sign off. I can think of guys who did it, who I would give the award to first. That's all.
So Taylor, definitely, I agree with you on that one. You said Belichick also?
I would do it for Belichick, especially with all the scuttlebutt. What's that?
He's definitely in conversation.
Yeah, okay.
I would put Belichick over.
In fact,
Vrabel.
Didn't we both predict he win it this year, Kyle, when you started?
I appreciate you giving me credit. I don't know that I can accept that.
I don't know that. I think we would talk about coaching. I think he'll coach you with playoffs and division.
I might have said he was a candidate. I did not pick him to win. I don't think I was that confident.
Okay.
But I appreciate the props.
Did we all predict this game? I
mean Tennessee. We did, yeah. We did that.
Tennessee, Kyle, you agree? Tennessee.
Yeah, that's why we had to take the side conversation because the Texans are boring.
That's more fascinating than the fucking game itself. Come on.
All right, then we go 425 on Fox. The 8-8 New Orleans Saints. They need this one. They are a 4.5-point favorite at the Atlanta Fraud Cons.
Why are we talking about this game?
Let me start here real quick, Jim, because this is fascinating. Because the Niners loss 2 weeks ago might bit them in the ass.
Right, because, okay, so 40 is your over-under. I think the Saints beat the Falcons.
There you go.
I'm taking the under.
There you go.
Kyle.
I mean, at the time the Niners-Falcons game happened, EJ, we pointed out that this was a ass biter, if you will. It was frisky, the result. There, you feel better? I have the Saints because you expect me to bet on the fraud cons. Stop it. Shout Stanley Thompson.
All right. So then we go 425. The 9-7 49ers, they go to the 12-4 Los Angeles Rams. If the Saints win and the 49ers lose, Saints are in, 49ers out. The Rams are a 5-point favorite, 44.5. The Rams need to win. What time did the Cardinals play this week? They probably played a late game too. There's a lot of late games.
And that's the thing.
For the first time in the NFL, or like that's the fun part for this week, especially for those who watch on the Red Zone channel, because Arizona plays at 4:25. So,
correct.
The Rams need to win to hold off the Cardinals, who are playing against Seattle and should beat Seattle. So, if the Rams lose and the Cardinals win, the Cardinals take that division.
Yep.
So that's what makes these two games frisky, EJ.
Yes.
Aww,
because if you look,
I was afraid I hurt his feelings when I yelled at
him.
everybody.
The Tennessee losses were so huge. 3 weeks ago, Kyle and I locked the Niners up about a month, even longer now, not a month ago. The Niners up as the playoff team. They're gonna get it no matter what.
I did it before.
Now, right? You did. Now, the optics on both these games tell you that ain't happening. The optics tell you the Rams are a better team in San Francisco. They're still playing for something on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Possibly as high as the number 2 seed. Okay. So, and then we also agree the Saints are going to
win. They get the 2 seed because they're already sitting in.
We all agree the Saints are going to be Atlanta. We all agree with that, right?
They should.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
The optics tell you Saints are in, Niners are out. That's why that Tennessee loss is so fucking bad.
Here may, and I don't even know if this is enough to throw a wrench into the Saints should be beating the Falcons. Is there a chance Matt Ryan gets moved from Atlanta this offseason?
Yeah.
No.
And this is his last home game?
He could. He's lame duck next year. Lame duck.
The contract is too much, too
He has 1 more year though on his contract.
Right, but if the money is too high, I don't know if there's a team that's going to want to take that risk on a 1-year deal.
Pittsburgh, maybe.
They would have the cap to do it,
and not for nothing. He's having actually a pretty good year in Atlanta.
For the money they're paying him, they might as well keep him in the building and let him be a transitional piece for whoever the next quarterback is.
Right.
Then pay him for somebody else who might beat him on the schedule. Right.
Okay. Because I was going to say that may be the only wrinkle if he wants to go out with the show in Atlanta on Sunday. But I'm taking the Rams with they.
I mean, how can you not?
I mean they just need Matt Stafford to not screw up, and he did not look great for 3+ quarters this past week.
Correct.
Now he turned it on at the end, and they got the win. So it comes back. It comes back to him, but they've been playing a little bit better. Odell Beckham making some people look silly with some of the takes they said. The guy looks to have found some new life.
Correct.
I mean, it's nice when Cooper Kupp is pulling away the coverage.
That too.
It also helps, because he's not the guy anymore, which is beneficial to him and the Rams. So yeah, I'm taking the Rams here. I'm taking the Rams plus. I'm gonna go maybe a slide over. EJ.
Same thing. Rams cover, Rams over.
Kyle.
As much as the defense for the Niners is fantastic and can throw this all down the window, I have no confidence that the Niners will maintain the appropriate discipline to not make the same mistakes on offense. Yeah, I got the Niners. I got the Rams covering, and how did it happen that the stupid, sorry, nasty, disgusting football Saints are the ones making this? Like somebody let the Saints beat them who shouldn't have, and I forget who it was. But
the Bucks?
Well, I mean,
Bucks twice.
Yeah, I mean, shutting out the alleged MVP candidate, that's one. Thanks, Brady.
Go Falcons this weekend.
He always finds ways to piss you off, doesn't he, Kyle?
As much as I hate the Niners, I'd rather see Niners in the playoffs.
I'm pretty sure that
they beat
EJ
the
promised
Bucs.
him a dinner.
Beat the Patriots.
Really, it's only the Bucs. Now you go back to earlier in the year, they beat the Packers week 1. They beat the Patriots week 3. They beat the Bucs twice. Those are the good wins.
I mean, if they happen upon the Pats later in the schedule, there's no way.
No, absolutely
no.
Absolutely not.
As much as I can't stand the Niners, I'd rather see Niners in the playoffs than the fucking Saints. So
it's better TV at the very least.
Absolutely. Go Atlanta. Go Matt Ryan. Let's go.
There we go.
I'm not that desperate.
I mean, you're a Niner fan. You want this to happen.
Yes, but I am more desperate to see Danny Thompson quiet than.
Oh wow, I love it.
All right, finally, Sunday night football for the last spot in the AFC. 9-7 LA Chargers are a 3-point road favorite at 9-7 Las Vegas Raiders. 48.5 is your over under on this one. 8:20 on NBC and Peacock.
God, don't bet this game.
Look up.
Jesus.
Even a week.
It should be the Chargers plus. It should be.
But
do I have faith in Justin Herbert and the Chargers to not Charger? No. Do I have faith in the Raiders to find magic again this week like they did against Indy? No. Do I think this is going to be a great game to end the regular season on? No.
That was a good game.
Hell no. Like, how is this the last piece of this crazy puzzle? Give me the Chargers plus because they should be the team that wins and gets in. They have the inside track. They have to not screw it up. That's what it should be. And it really, I mean, it should be over the 48.5 too. These offenses should show out. Kyle.
So, Jim, if the Chargers don't activate the light, does that mean they fell into a black hole?
Oh,
that was great.
Ridiculous.
He knows he's in trouble when I do the damn Dr. Evil.
Like, oh, here it goes again.
It's like, oh, hell. You know. At least there's still a golden helmet on the screen, right, Jim? No, listen, man.
You dumbass.
Right? Did you just butthead me?
I did. I did.
My God. The 90s call. Damn it. Anyways, like they've rebooted and been canceled again. Jesus.
Multiple times.
Right? No, listen, I'm with you. You do not bet this game.
Don't bet this. Period.
Yeah, do not bet this game. Do not pass go. You probably won't collect $200. But because I believe, listen, you got a pair of quarterbacks that have been playing very well this year. Say what you will about all the ish, and to EJ's point, the reason why there's so much cat food in Las Vegas is because the Raiders have been frisky of late, and part of that is due to Derek Carr. Now, whether that cat in question gets run over by a car or
wow.
I can't come up with a good pun for the other quarterback. So I'll just say I got the Chargers like Jim does, but I'm not betting the game.
That is a disgusting act.
Whatever. Joe Buck yourself.
You're insane. Over number one. Chargers also cover the spread. I mean, if Vegas does this again, like another performance like they did last week, I mean, that'd be shocking. But Chargers, I mean, they're a better team, right? Chargers a better team. So I mean, Chargers cover the spread and the over as well too. There is a scenario though that I don't know if you saw earlier today that
I have heard about this. Go ahead there, EJ.
Tie, and if they both tie and the Colts lose, they both get in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
Just saying. Now it won't happen because the Colts play the who? We know that.
Right. They play the Jaguars.
Casey
so okay. If the Jaguars find a way to win,
they're not going to. Don't find them.
They're not going to. But let's just for funsies.
Hey, I've made the not going to so many times in college football, and the shit happened. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, again, they shouldn't, but like, there's like, what do you? There's no way these teams. I mean, there's
No.
a possibility, but there's no way there's a tie here, right? Like,
No.
it shouldn't matter.
I would say the possibility of a tie is more likely in this game than the Colts losing to the.
I just want to see I want to see two teams with like 6 minutes to go who are tied, and just everybody starts taking a knee.
Yep.
I mean, that's interesting. Like, if word comes in, or there's a COVID outbreak and the Colts forfeit the game, like, is it collusion if the teams are like, hey, let's tie? I mean,
right, because do you want to be Justin Herbert and throw that, you're down 3, but you're trying to win, you throw a pick 6 and you kill your season? Like, how much is it really in play there? Like, it's an interesting thought,
right,
that something could happen. The Colts should win.
It ain't happen. Don't break your brain, Jim. It ain't happen.
that would be a
My
historical
brain
event.
broke
I
years
say the
ago.
least. Yeah, well,
So you don't have to worry about that.
I mean, when he talks about eating popcorn, he doesn't mean like the corn that you pop. He means the stuff off the ceiling. That's
and lastly, we can't get out of another week without. Yes, I was so bummed out you weren't here last week.
it's even better in person, though.
Because I did this for you. I didn't even do this for me. I did this for you, Kyle.
I mean, you enjoy it a little bit. Don't bullshit.
Cool
I
time.
know Matt enjoyed it.
Matt did. So I mean,
Stunned.
it's the last week of the regular season, so we have to. You don't do them in the playoffs, right?
You damn right. Well, the playoffs, no. I mean, I do. I might do them here. I could do in the playoffs and rank the teams that are less than in the playoffs.
Sarah, give us more to talk about.
I mean, I don't know why you're bothering, because he'll just make the Chiefs the number 1 team every week.
How do you know that? Awesome.
All right, so for the
Chiefs
people
fan.
listening on just the podcast side, your bottom 5: Texans, Lions, Jets, Jaguars, Giants.
Unchanged. Last week.
Unchanged. Your top 10, we'll start at 10, work the way up. Indy, Dallas, New England, Cincinnati, Tennessee are 10 through 6. And then your top 5: Arizona, Tampa Bay. I wanted to say Tampa Bay, but I didn't want to anger Kyle.
Hey.
Be better than that, Jim. He's already cost me my team playoff hope.
Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay.
Love it.
The Rams at 3, the Chiefs at 2, and the Packers are back on top. So, Kyle, where do you find issue?
Okay.
On the top 10 this week?
Chiefs should be no higher than 4. Simply put, end of story. What I want answers for is how last week the Cardinals are left for dead. Horrible team. Kyle, why do you support the Cardinals? What makes you think that the Cardinals are a top 10 team? And here these sons of bitches are at number 5. That's very interesting to me. But in another world, you actually think that the Titans, currently without Derrick Henry, are better than an AFC North clinching Cincinnati Bengal team. They have clinched a better division. They're still inferior. Doesn't make a damn bit of sense. That's not even the biggest crime against humanity. I believe the precise quote from my text on our group when I saw this was, and I quote, Cowboys. You are a lying mother beep if you're going to try to tell me you're a Giants fan ever again, because no Giants fan would go out of this way to be this bad an analyst. How are they a top 10 team?
The Cowboys should not be in the top 10 this week.
Maybe. All right, so let me defend a little bit here. So you had a problem with the Titans.
That's the Cowboys. Everything else, whatever. I'm over it.
The Titans jump from me, and Mikey B also did it on the podcast as well too. We had the same.
We've proven he doesn't know a damn thing. Okay.
And he actually higher than me actually. The Titans at 6 though is really mostly because of the Derrick Henry news.
The Derrick Henry news that he won't be back until the playoffs.
He's practicing tomorrow. He's likely not to play this Sunday, but that's because of the fact they're also playing Houston. Come on now, let's go. All right. They're about to clinch them 1 seed this weekend. At some point, we have to give credit's due. Okay? So I've been trying to...
And that's a good point.
So,
I want to make you repeat everything you just said. I
Derrick
can boil
Henry,
this to one question.
Derrick Henry is the main reason why Tennessee made a big jump from 9 to 6 this week. Well, 10 to 6 on my list. All right, you said the Bengals. Okay, again.
Wait. Before you jump to that, the Titans, I just want to ask one single question.
Go ahead.
Are the Titans capable of being eliminated in the first week?
Absolutely.
Then why in the shit are they in the upper half of the 10?
Because
I'm just saying.
Because in the AFC, that's why.
That's not good enough.
Anyway,
So
go ahead, Jim.
So last week you had Tennessee at 10. You jumped them to 6 because one player's coming back next week. I get he's arguably the best running back in football.
And the best player.
He's their most important player.
He is their best player. That is a good statement.
Without question. But you had the Bengals not in your top 10 last week. They were not.
No, sir.
I am looking at your top 10 from December 28th. Chiefs, Packers, Rams, Bucks, Cowboys, Colts, Cardinals, Bills, Patriots, Titans.
All right.
You did not have the Bengals in your top 10. They beat your number one team, the team that you have been flying the EJ flag for all year, the team that you've been dunking week to week because they've won 7 in a row, 8 in a row. Here they go. The Bengals, who you have discredited all year. And now they beat your number one team. And because you said what, they were 11? So you only move them the same number of spots. They beat the best team in football to you. You only move them up 4, but the Chiefs down 1. That don't add up to me, my guy.
I see your point, but yeah.
The Bengals should be higher. The Chiefs.
I actually did.
We're in the top 10 team. The Chiefs should be lower.
It's a baseball. It's inside baseball here a little bit. I actually thought about putting the Bengals as high as 5 at one point. And in 6, right?
I would accept them at 6. To be
the Derrick Henry news what drove the Titans conversation to me.
Okay,
so that's the thing for me. What else? The Colts, Cowboys should be in the top 10. I'm surprised you guys didn't mention one. I said in text and one anything at the time. There's a team missing in this top 10 that were in the top 10 last week. They're out.
Of course, there's a team missing that shouldn't be there. You have the Cowboys in here.
No, the Bills are out.
The Bills are out. That doesn't bother me too much, but it's okay because the Cowboys shouldn't be there, so the Bills will take their spot.
Take the Cowboys out, move the Colts up, and put the Bills in. That's an easy solve. The Cowboys. I love the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have potential to be a top 10 team. They failed that test this week. This week they said to me, because I was arguing with a buddy of mine on Sunday during the 1:00 games because the rhetoric has been it's going to be the same Cowboys. They haven't beaten anybody. Okay, now's your chance to show it. And this isn't even a full strength Cardinals team.
Correct.
You're at home in the second to last week of the year. You still have something to play for. You still could be the home seed in the NFC. And at home, you lay an egg, not just your offense, which has been bad all year. All year? Your defense, most of the year.
Disappointing doesn't necessarily mean bad. They have had some moments this year.
Disappointing. They've been bad at points. Do I think Dak is 100% healthy? No, I don't. They also don't have a better option. But there's still no excuse there.
Well, I'll tell you what. NFL.com will agree with you guys. NFL.com right now, as of today, 1 Packers, 2 Rams, 3 Bucks, 4 Chiefs, 5 Bengals, 6 Bills, 7 Titans, 8 Patriots, 9 Cardinals, 10 Cowboys.
The Cowboys told me this past Sunday that everything that people who either don't like the Cowboys or just like to make the argument for the sake of clicks. The Cowboys told me that all of those people are right. And now the Cowboys have told me once again, because I'm an idiot and I buy the hype again every year.
I tried to warn you.
I know you did, Kyle.
Listen.
I know you did, Kyle.
Wait. Here's ESPN's, though. ESPN's is a little weirder.
See, this, you notice how this is, EJ, I respect you for this. I'm just pointing this out for people who are taking classes in debate and are seeing. Do you see the deflection now?
I am on my picks. I'm going to tell you what the rest of the pros are saying. 1 Packers, 2 Chiefs, $3, 4 Rams, 5 Titans, 6 Bills, still Bills high, 7 Cowboys, 8 Cardinals, 9 Patriots, 10 Bengals. ESPN.com.
Okay, so what's the proper answer? Give me my money.
Right. No, I agree with you. That's fucking ridiculous.
But the Cowboys told me again that regardless of what their record shows, that they are the same team that they have been since 1997.
Also, they got Colts at 12.
That overall,
Colts
they're going to be good, but they're never going to be good enough.
We had a Niners, a team they beat early in the year too. On top of that, just saying.
No, you're absolutely right, buddy. What are you trying to fire shots?
ESPN's ridiculous, dude.
So I'll say this, and I didn't listen to all the Cowherds, but some of them were better, some of them were bad.
Hierarchy.
Yeah. The long of the short is this: like, we have established your fanhood for the Chiefs, right? I mean, I get it. Your son is named Levon, and your dog is named Kelsey. I get it. But see, he's trying to not crack a smile at that.
No, I'm looking up the Cowherd.
I know you are. I'm messing with you. You're good, buddy. But
his is bad.
Yeah. Again, I want one Cowboys win this year that I'm supposed to be impressed by. You still can't bleed and do it.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying.
It is a moral victory in week 1 against the defending Super Bowl champions, who have since been beaten 9-0 by a team that was considering Trevor Siemian as its savior.
Here's Colin Cowherd real quick. His top 10. 1 Packers, 2 Chiefs, 3 Bucks, 4 Titans, 5 Rams, 6 Bengals, 7 Bills, 8 Cardinals, 9 Patriots, 10 Chargers.
Better than the Cowboys.
My God.
Honestly, for me, other than the Titans, that's on point compared to some of the other ones you've read off.
Where the Colts at?
Yeah, they should. The Colts should be where the Chargers are, if not higher.
Yeah, I think they should probably even be higher, despite the loss last week. Because
wait, 2-hour show today. Wow.
That's
I mean, you guys started a few.
No, that's what's starting late.
All right, let's close this thing up. Kyle, we'll go to you. Yeah, we'll go to you first. Tell the people everything that is the student of the game.
First of all, let me be among the last to wish all of you a happy new year. Jim, love the color changes. And hopefully, your Notre Dame Fighting Irish, though they didn't belong in 5th, did pretty well this year, will at least do pretty well, so I don't have to mock you. The introduction of Coach Freeman is now dominating your intro. EJ, I hope you catch the perpetrator, or that you are actually executing an undercover job to hide yourself from everybody who is going to persecute you for your constant sorry top 10s. So, wow. You knew I was going to comment on the security van. I respect that.
Yeah, I love it. The keeper.
So, I like it. Anyways, of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with the 3pointconversion.com for management, college football, and other NFL things, such as covering the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret, covering all things UCF football and basketball in particular. I will actually be at Edition Financial Arena tomorrow night covering the men's basketball team as they continue conference play, facing off against Temple, a team they beat 2 weeks ago, I believe, on the road. Thank you, Jim. For all things of that as well. Also, hoping to have some nice goodies for interviews with former UCF players leading into the Hula Bowl here locally at the Bounce House. So that should be fun. And of course, my work with A7BN Sports, Captain Company Morning, covering the Jags as well, and me and my friend Demosthenes Euclid within the Hilarity by Default podcast, where we show you guys whether or not something is required viewing. Did you see the Christmas Vacation episode yet, guys?
I did, sir. Very good stuff. I watched the whole series of the Lampoon movie.
Yeah, no. It gets very funny because Demo's got a little angry for the Vegas Vacation one. I don't know that we've launched that one yet, but look out for it.
Nice. I look forward to it. Is that you're good?
Yeah, that was it.
Covered everything. All right.
I know
Well,
it's a
you
long list.
I felt short.
You didn't give your tagline, so I was confused.
Oh, right. Well, until next time, everyone. Class dismissed. Happy New Year, Bedroom.
DJ.
Follow me on Twitter, each person 7, of course. We Earth Speaking Podcast. We have now turned that feed officially as of this week into the Earth Speaking Podcast Network. We're doing a bunch of different shows on there now going forward. Football's awesome. We're launching our basketball podcast tomorrow in the paint. We're going to be doing, of course, Take the Wrestling Podcast will be on the feed as well, too, in addition to another wrestling podcast called From the Top Rope and other concepts we're going with in the future as well, too. I'm looking forward to that. So pretty excited times here on this side of the content creating world here in Earth Speaking Media. So
can it be a thing that I keep calling it the Op Nation 2.5?
I mean, you want to keep doing it, but it's completely different than before.
I know, it's just reality. It's like Russell Tankerus Wilson. It's that kind of a thing.
I mean, those are some good times. I'll be honest, some good times, man. But man, that's been so long ago now. I'll remember it now if you bring it up.
Listen, if Coming to America can have a sequel, you can have Op Nation 2.5.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm looking forward to some of the concepts down and we're doing on the feed. So, and you guys will also be a part of it as well too. So looking forward to it.
It's good stuff, man. Make sure you follow along with both these guys and what they are doing. You can follow me at Big Jim Sports, but make sure, most importantly, you are following along with the show. We are at Huddle Up Podcast on Facebook and Twitter, at Huddle Up Pod on Instagram. Subscribe to the show, all podcast platforms, as well as our YouTube channel. Check out our merchandise over at whatamaneuver.net. Our home network, of course, is NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. And our secondary home is the Leib Sports and Music Network, LEEIB Sports.com. Be better to people in the new year. And as always, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the win.